the quality of research that we produce. More details about the content of Turnitin is going to be presented to us, and that is the reason why we have gathered here, to be able to learn more. What is Turnitin? What does it imply to you as a faculty member? What does it imply to you as a student at the master's level, PhD level, even undergraduate level? As a librarian, is Turnitin a very important tool for the purpose of the production of research, of the kind of research we produce? So to take us through to understand the place of Turnitin in the University of Nairobi, we have our very own Timothy Siukia. Timothy works in main campus library, JKML, in a unit that we refer to as digital content stock ICT. Timothy is an alumni of the University of Nairobi. He holds a master's degree in library information sciences of the University of Nairobi. He is a member of the library committee that conducts capacity building and training for researchers and the university community. In addition to that, Timothy has been a regular facilitator of various topics, including the work that is going to present to us. So I want to welcome Timothy to be able to take over. And before Timothy can come on board, for the purpose of our learning today, there are a few housekeeping rules. I would appreciate that you can keep them. Number one is that let us ensure our environment, wherever you are, is as conducive, as silent as possible. Let us have our phones in silent mode for the time being. Number three, we allow Timothy to be able to do the presentation up to the end, and thereafter we'll be able to engage him through a Q&A session, whereby you'll be allowed to be able to ask questions, clarifications, and even to be able to get your feedback thereafter. So that is kind of the flow that we'll appreciate if you can be able to share for the purpose of ensuring that the training is conducted to the full. So I hereby now invite Timothy to be able to take us through what he has been able to prepare for us in the topic known as training on Turnitin similarity checker, and look at the various aspects, including the changes or updates if there is any. Timothy Siukia, or Timothy Siukia, please take over.
Thank you, Bwana Macharia. And good morning, everyone. I want to welcome you all.
Good morning to you.
Yes, thank you, Bwana Macharia. I want to welcome you all this morning to this our training that we're going to be having today on Turnitin similarity checker. Much has already been said, so without further ado, I'll get straight into it. So allow me to just share my screen 1 second. So I take it you can all see my screen, yes?
Not yet, but I hope it is loading.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Not too sure. We may encounter some delay. I'm sure we all understand the nature of our internet connectivity and its fluctuations. So if you happen to find that I am not audible, or the voice to picture is not moving together, kindly let me know. So then at this time, I would like to proceed. And I'm sure most of us are already familiar with Turnitin. Many of us have been using it for some time now. I'm sure we have a number of instructors, supervisors, as well as some students who would want to know more about how Turnitin works. So I'll quickly go over how to navigate Turnitin. And then we'll get into the more technical bits as we move further into it. So Turnitin, as I'm sure you're already aware, is an online platform. It's not a system that requires installation anywhere. You can access it via the URL www.turnitin.com. This is the page you will arrive at. And on the top right corner, you can see there's a login link. And if you click on it there, you'll get to the login page. So I mentioned in our previous trainings that we changed how we log into Turnitin. So instead of entering your email address and your password, you simply go to the sign in with the Google option. And when you click on that button, it will ask you to choose which Gmail account you want to proceed with. And the one that Turnitin will recognize, and this is how Turnitin has been configured for the University of Nairobi, Turnitin will recognize only the University of Nairobi email address. That is what you will sign in with. So you click on the sign in with Google button. Sometimes it might ask you which account you want to proceed with, or it might log in directly, as you've seen mine log in. Mine has just logged in directly, and it's because I had already signed into my university email. But in the event that you are not signed into your email, it may ask you which Gmail account you'd like to proceed with, at which point you will enter the University of Nairobi staff email. Okay, so this is the page you will arrive at. This is the instructor interface. Sometimes it may land you on a different interface, but on the top right corner, where you can see my cursor moving back and forth, there is my name there, then user information, then messages, then it says there student, and there's an arrow. So if you click on that arrow, a drop-down menu will appear. So you select instructor, and it will give you the instructor interface. This is it here. So yes. I hope you're able to hear me. Everything is okay.
Okay, yes, so, Timothy, I can hear you.
All right, thank you. So on this page, if you're a first-time user, I want to draw your attention to the green button to the right side that says add class, because this is the first thing that you will need to do so that you can, you're basically setting up your account to be able now to start submitting work for similarity checking. So the first thing you need to do is to add a class. Yeah. So click on the add class button. It's the one in green. And you're given this page to enter some class settings. So the class type should remain standard. Okay. There's the option of master, but master does not indicate the student level. This is something else. Okay, so for ease of use, I would recommend that you leave the class type as standard. The class name, here is where now you enter the class name, the name of the class that you are supervising. And this is part of the demonstration. Now I'm speaking to the instructors, the supervisors. So say, for example, you're supervising a class in project planning. So let's just say, as an example, PhD project planning and management. So that's your class name. The enrollment key can be anything. In our case, let's just enter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The subject area, if you click on the drop down, it will give you some options to choose from. So we can pick anyone, or if you find that your subject area is not listed, there should be at least one that is closest to what you're supervising. Okay, so in our case, maybe I could just pick, I'll just pick social studies. Student level, I click on the drop down, it appears. So you can select the student level for the students you're supervising. So I have selected postgraduate. The class start date by default is today's date, September the 13th, 2024. And the class end date is by default 1 year from today, 13th September 2025. You can always adjust the end date by clicking on the calendar icon. You click on the calendar icon, it will give you this calendar interface. And you can use the directional arrows on either side of the calendar to scroll through the months. So I am going to adjust my class end date to December 2025, December 31st, 2025. That's the end of next year. So that if you're supervising any students who you expect to have graduated by September or December next year, this class will cater for them up to the end of that period. So having filled in all that information, you can now submit this form to create your class. And you can see there it is saying class created. Congratulations, you have created the new class, PhD Project Planning and Management. So we'll say continue. And you can see now that the class that we have created, it is listed amongst these ones. PhD Project Planning and Management is right there. You can see where my cursor is moving back and forth. I hope you can see that. PhD Project Planning and Management. So if now I click on this class name, it will take me into the class. And within the class now we have to add an assignment. Okay, and there's an add assignment button to the right side. You can see it in green. So if I click add assignment, I'll be able to add an assignment. And I want to state right now that within a class you can have several assignments. You can have one assignment named term papers or essays or PhD thesis or master's projects. You can have those classes within, you can have those assignments within a class. Okay, so a class can accommodate several assignments is what I want to make clear right now. So I'm going to add assignment. The first assignment within this class. A moment as the page loads. Okay, so this is the add assignment interface. So here you are required to enter the title. As I mentioned, your assignment can be anything. It can be term papers, PhD thesis, master's projects. So because the class name was PhD Project Planning, I think we can write here as the class, as the assignment title, we shall just call it PhD Project Planning 2024-2025. Yeah, we can just shorten that a bit. PhD Project Planning 2024-2025. That's the title of our assignment. Instructions. These are the assignment instructions given by the supervisor to the students. Okay, so here you can you can write an instruction. For example, if it was a term paper, for example, you can say something like number of words should not exceed so many. You know, you can put those instructions there to inform the students as they're submitting their work. Yeah. Below instructions, we have submit papers to. This is a question. So it is asking you, do you want to the paper that you submit for similarity checking, should it go into the standard paper repository or do not store the submitted papers? And this is an area that we want to stress on very much. It must always be do not store the submitted paper. This standard paper repository being referred to is not, I repeat, it is not the University of Nairobi e-repository. This is the Turnitin database of student papers, which is also referred to as a repository. A repository can be any database of documents. Okay, so let not this word being present there lead you to believe that it is the UON e-repository. It is not. So when you are configuring the assignment settings, make sure that this area of submit papers to says do not store the submitted papers. That's how it must always be. It's very important. Below that, we have optional settings. And under optional settings, there's a submission settings there. Allow any file type. We do not select that. Allow late submissions. You can check that box. Enable grammar checking using ETS erator. So grammar checking is a feature within Turnitin that enables the system to pick out errors in grammar. And the brief will be provided in a report. But because grammar checking is already provided within Microsoft Word, where most of the academic works are written, we do not see the need to enable this feature. Although it is at your own discretion, you can decide to enable it. I will recommend at this time that you just leave it disabled. Okay. Attach rubric. This is a feature within Turnitin that allows you to upload a marking scheme. So it's a marking feature, which at the moment we are not exploring. I am informed that it is still in testing phase. So under submission settings, only check allow late submissions. There could be some benefit to that, which we will cover momentarily. Below submission settings, we have similarity report. Check the first one, generate similarity reports for student submissions. Yes. I should mention actually, there is a way that students can also submit into an instructor's account, and I will cover that in a moment after we have set up this assignment. So yes, generate similarity report for student submission, check that box. Below it, there's a drop-down menu. Select the second option, which says generate reports immediately. Students can resubmit until due date. After 3 submissions, reports generate after 24 hours. So select that one. Below it, we have enable translated matching. So this is a feature that enables Turnitin to be able to recognize submitted works that are not necessarily in English. Maybe the paper is written in Kiswahili or French or German or Chinese. Turnitin, if you enable this feature, will be able to identify patterns within the language and be able to match the language patterns to be able to generate a similarity report. But because most of our papers are done in English, you don't need to enable it. But then again, at your own discretion, should you be in a situation where your students or you are conducting classes in a different language other than English, then it may be necessary to enable it. Below it, we have allow students to view similarity report. Check the box. Exclude bibliographic material. Check that one as well. This instructs the Turnitin system to be able to identify and exclude references. Okay. So be sure to enable that. Then we have exclude quoted material. Enable that as well. And when you exclude quoted material, it will ask you to exclude quoted material, so that anything that is in quotes will be excluded. Okay, then we have exclude small sources, and small sources refers to I'm sure you'll agree, in academic language, in academic writing, students tend to use similar language in some cases, especially where, for example, a student is introducing a chapter. A student may say something like, the objective of this study is to, and most students, you will find that they use the same language patterns up to a degree. And this is what we are referring to, small sources. And by enabling this, we are saying that the system should be able to identify and exclude small sources. But we need also to be able to determine how much of these small sources to exclude. So below it, when you enable small sources, you will see this area that appears when you enable it, small match exclusion type. So there is either words or percentage you can pick from. It is much easier to configure this setting using words. So small sources, select words, and then the source exclusion threshold, set it to 5 words. Now, why is it 5 words? Because going by the example that I've given, the objective of this study was those are already 5 words. And the thinking is that beyond 5 words, it is unlikely that students are still using the same language. Okay, although I should stress that there are some areas of study where they tend to use more similar language beyond 5 words. And so this falls under the discretion of the department or the instructor in this case, to be able to determine what the exclusion threshold should be. Although we recommend that they should not go beyond 10 words. They should not go beyond 10 words. 5 words is safe. But then again, this is a recommendation. Every department, of course, should be able to make a determination on where they feel what the exclusion threshold should be. Okay. So moving on, below it we have compare against. And this is a question. The paper that you want to check for similarity, you want it compared against what? And we recommend that you select the 3 items listed there. The paper should be checked against student paper repository. It should also be checked against current and archived website content, as well as periodicals, journals, and publications. Because again, you will agree, these areas are where students tend to get their references from. So it is important that as you're checking for similarity, you check against these sources, so that as the students are referring to works from these sources, they are not copying or lifting word for word. Yeah, so just to ensure that they are exercising good practice of interpreting the understanding of what they are referencing into their own words. So that is compare against, and below it again we have exclude assignment template. And this area, I tend to feel it can complicate a similarity checking quite a lot. And it says upload or create a template of text to be automatically excluded from the similarity report. And now once you upload a template, it says here templates can no longer be added or edited. Once you upload it, it becomes permanent. So anything that you run into this assignment will be compared against that template. So it is best left alone. I would urge that we do not engage this area very much. So just leave it be. Then under additional settings, it is asking, do you want to save these settings for future use? Of course, by checking that box, it means that the next time you have to create a class, you will not need to configure the settings. These settings that you have put in place right now will be carried forward into the future class. So at this time, we can now submit this assignment settings. So the assignment has been created. Yeah, so it says here, this is your assignment inbox. To view a paper, select a paper title. So of course, there's nothing here yet. We've not submitted anything. But as soon as we start submitting students' works, you will see that it will become populated with records of the submitted work. So before we can move to submitting anything, we must now enroll our students. Each respective instructor, of course, has students that he or she is supervising. So to enroll your students, I would recommend, I would guide you to this area. If you can see where my cursor is moving, right below the Turnitin logo on the top left, you can see assignments, edit assignments, grade mark report, and then a tab that says students. So if you click on students, it opens this interface here where you can add students or enroll students. So currently there are no students enrolled. If you look to the right side, there are some tabs. One that says add student, another one upload student list, and another one that says email all students. So to add a student, if you want to add one student, you can click on add. And then here on this page, where it says enroll a student, enter the student's first name. So I will enroll myself for demonstration's sake. That's my first name and my second name, and my email is there. Then I'm going to submit this. And you can see now that there's one student enrolled. I've enrolled myself, and my name is now listed there. So as you enroll your students, you will find them listed here under the students tab. Now I want to, at this time, stress the importance of dropping your students as soon as they have completed their studies. We have a graduation in about a week's time, after which many students are going to leave the University of Nairobi having graduated, having had their work supervised and run through Turnitin and all of that. And I want to urge all supervisors, all instructors that are in the audience, I want to urge you to take time once you are done with your students to come to this page, yeah, students, under students, where you have the list of enrolled students. I want to urge you to come to this page and drop your students. Release them from this class you've enrolled them into. Why do you need to do this? It is because every time we enroll a student, it takes up a license. And as you know, the University of Nairobi's subscription is for 2,000 licenses. So with every enrolled student, that is one license down. We have noted there's a trend where there are students who have completed and are still enrolled within classes. And this has worked to deplete the number of licenses that we have, so much so that we now have instructors who are experiencing challenges enrolling new students. Okay. So kindly let's mute our microphones. There's someone whose microphone is active. So yes, it is very important that as each one of us as instructors, we need to drop the students who have cleared, who have left the university, so that it can free up a license to be able to accommodate another ongoing student. Okay. So if you come to students, where the student list is, enrolled student list, to the extreme right of that student's name, there is this title drop. You can see where my cursor is. I don't know if you're able to see that drop. And there's a bin icon right below that. So if you click on that icon, the student will be dropped from the class, and that will free up a license. So if you have many students who've left the university, drop them all, and that will enable you and other instructors to enroll students who are ongoing. Okay, so now we've enrolled a student. Now we want to proceed to where we can submit an assignment. So again, on the top left under the Turnitin logo, right below it, there is the tabs that are there. Click on the one that says assignments. We've been looking at students, click on assignments. And now you can see what we have done thus far. So we began by adding a class, which we named PhD Project Planning and Management. And within the class, we added an assignment, which we named PhD Project Planning 2024-2025. And we said, within this class, PhD Project Planning and Management, you can have several assignments. Okay, maybe before adding this one, project planning assignment, we could have had another one, or we can still have another one that says PhD proposals, yeah, to differentiate the proposals from the works that are further along. Okay, so you can have several assignments within a class. You don't need to create many classes. Okay, so now we are ready to submit the first student's work. And to do that, you can click on view. Now view is, if you can see where my cursor is, I've highlighted PhD project planning and project planning 2024-25. If you move to the right below actions, there is view. If you click on view, it will allow you to view the assignment inbox. And you can see there, that is our only enrolled student who is there. And under title, not submitted yet, so nothing has been submitted. If you had more enrolled students, they would also be listed here. So now we want to submit our first paper. So I'll click on submit. There's that blue button on the left. We click on submit. And here now, and this is where it is different from how Turnitin was before. I'm sure many of you will remember. Before we had to enroll students, we would simply come here and type in the student's name, last name, enter the title. But now with the enrollment, you can't do that. If you try and type in anything on the first name, it doesn't allow you to do that, to type anything. So you must select the student that you have enrolled. So you come to author, click on select student, a drop down will appear, and then it will give you a list of the students that you have enrolled into your class. Now in our case, we only enrolled one, and that is the one that we shall use for this demonstration. So I will click on the name, and you can see, having selected that name, it autofills these the first name and the last name area. They are automatically filled in when you select the student under author. And then here now, you can enter the submission title, the title of the student's work. So I have a paper. I'll just use this as an example. Okay, and I'll upload the same paper. This is for demonstrations purposes. So I've entered the submission title. If scrolling down a little bit more, there's options. Choose the file you want to upload to Turnitin. So I will click on choose from this computer, and this will allow me to navigate to where the document is saved on my computer. So I have located it, open, there it is. So below that, there's a blue button that says upload. Click on it. It is processing. So it has completed, and now I can confirm. After reviewing some of these details, I can confirm, and after confirming, the checking process will then begin. Okay, so it says here, congratulations, your submission is complete, and this is a digital receipt. So if I had another paper to submit, I can always click on submit another file. There's that button there, and next to it there's a blue button that says go to assignment inbox. So we don't have another paper to submit, so I will go to assignment inbox. And this is now the assignment inbox. You can see the paper that we submitted under my name, the title of the paper. Then we have some other details. If you move to the right, below similarity, that is where the similarity percentage would be shown. And in our case, because I submitted a very small document, it has come back at 0%. If I click on it, it will not really give us much, but to open the report, you just simply click on that the percentage, okay, and it will open. So this is basically it. What I'm going to do, I think, for a better demo, let me look for a document that has at least a higher similarity percentage that we can use, so that we can, let me see. Look for older ones. Okay, so let's assume now, let me use this, because at least these ones have some higher similarity percentage that we can refer to. This again, I'll refer you to this area right below similarity, where the percentages are. So this indicates the similarity level, or the similarity percentage of each paper submitted. And you'll notice that next to each percentage, there's a color. So this color coding indicates the severity of similarity. So anything below, let's say 24% would be green, and beyond 24, as you get to 25, 26, it turns yellow. As it moves further up, somewhere around 49 into the 50s, it turns orange. And as you go beyond 60, 65, 70, it will turn red to indicate a high level of similarity. Okay. So if, say, for example, now we click on one, let's pick this one, which was 42%. And here now, this is what we call the feedback studio. When you click on the percentage, this is what it opens, and it is a preview of the report. To the right side of the screen, you will notice this vertical menu area. On the red part of it, there's the 43. If you click on the 43, it will expand the match overview. So the match overview lists the sources that this student consulted when they were writing their paper. We have there at the top, it starts off with the ones that have the highest percentage, or the ones that are contributing the most to the overall percentage. Okay, and as you move further down, you will notice that the percentage reduces. now to the 1%. And if you go further down, it'll even get to less than 1%. So in a situation like this, if the student needed to revise their work to improve this percentage, they would need to focus on these first papers. I would suggest that they focus on the first four, the 5, 3, 2%, and 2%. Once they have worked on that, it should help to reduce the percentage to a much better level. And if there's still some work to be done, they can then focus on the ones further below. Okay. On the main body of the document, you will notice some highlighted sections on the main body of the work. So for example, here, you can see this highlighted area. So this action of highlighting is a way of telling you that this highlighted paragraph has been flagged as being similar to some other work somewhere else. And where is this other place? So you will notice that at the beginning of each highlighted section, there is a number. So at the beginning of this highlighted area, for example, it says 26. So this 26 points to item number 26 under Match Overview. So if you scroll down on the Match Overview to where you have number 26, and 26 is right here. I don't know if you're able to see that 26. It says amnesty.ca. Okay. So this highlighted paragraph here, which begins with a 26, has been identified as being similar to some work written and contained in source number 26, amnesty.ca. So that's how you analyze these reports, and this is basically how it guides you on identifying where each source has been featured within the main body of the work. Okay. Scrolling further down, you will notice also that different paragraphs are highlighted in different colors. So each different color indicates a different source. So each source has its own color for you to be able to differentiate. Okay. There are some which are red, others which are purple, blue, green, etc., etc. So now, like this one, number 11. Sorry, the one highlighted in green and begins with the number 11. So if under Match Overview we browse to where number 11 is, you will notice that even the one that is listed under Match Overview has the same green color. So number 11 under Match Overview, allafrica.com, that is the source that is being referred to in this highlighted text here. Yeah, so this text is similar to something contained within this source named All Africa. So that's what that means. So this is your student. This is the percentage they've gotten. Now, as an instructor, you want to be able to download this report and share it to the students so that they can make corrections. And to download the report, I want to draw your attention again to the vertical menu bar. You can see where my cursor is moving up and down. There's the red section of this vertical menu, and at the very bottom, there's what appears to be a gear icon. If you click on the small arrow right next to it, it will expand. And now you can see there's an arrow pointing down. This is the download icon. I don't know if you're able to see that. There's that arrow there. So if you click on that download button, it will give you three options: current view, digital receipt, and originally submitted file. So the one that you want to select is the current view. If you click on current view, it will download this report as it appears with the highlighted sections. And it is these highlighted parts that will guide the students to narrow down to the areas that need revising, that need improving. So the report now is downloading. It's going to download in PDF format, which is much easier to share. You can attach this to an email and send it to your student. So let's have a look at that downloaded report. I think it has downloaded, it has gone to the downloads folder. And here it is. So I hope you're all able to see the report that we've now downloaded. This is the report. Okay, and you can see the parts of it that are highlighted as just as we saw within the Turnitin interface. Yeah, so now this PDF, you will be able to share it with your student, and it will help them to, it'll help to guide them to where they need to make corrections. Okay, so I hope we are together up to that point. We've covered how to log into Turnitin, how to add a class if you're a first-time user, how to add an assignment within the class. And we said that within the class, you can have more than one assignment. Of course, you will notice with time, your assignment, for example, this is an assignment, you'll notice that with time, your assignment might fill up. And once it has filled up to a degree that it becomes cumbersome to use, you can then proceed to create a new assignment and continue with that. Or when your assignment has expired, you can always create a new assignment instead of continuing using that expired assignment. It is actually encouraged that you allow your classes to expire so that it marks the end of one continuous period with a group of students. So if you have students that are ongoing right now and you expect to be done with them by the end of this year, it then means that you will have configured your classes to expire at the end of this year. And then at the beginning of next year, you will create a new class to accommodate a fresh batch of students with whom you will proceed with for another duration of time. Okay. And the other thing that we stressed on is the importance of dropping your students, deleting them from your assignments as soon as you are done with them. Failure to do this has, and I'm sure many of us have experienced this, a difficulty in enrolling new students. Or whenever you try to enroll a student into a new class, there's a message coming telling you that the student limit has been reached. And this is because many of us still have enrolled students who cleared, but were never dropped from our classes. So it is important that we take time to drop students or delete them from the classes where they were enrolled if they are no longer with the University of Nairobi. I don't know what time it is right now. It is 11. We're already 1 hour into the training. Let me see if there's any other area that I had wanted to address before we proceed to Q&A. There is how to go about getting a Turnitin account. This is a question that comes to us a lot. So for instructors, to get a Turnitin account, what you should do is you get your head of department to write to the Director Library Services requesting on your behalf, introducing you as a member of staff in that department. The email should also include your full names, your payroll number, your email address, stating that you're a member of staff in this department and you are supervising students, and you would benefit from having, you and the students would benefit from having a Turnitin account. So once your head of department writes to the Director Library Services, that email will come to us. And when I say us, I mean the two administrators within the library department. We are only two administrators, myself, Timothy Nzioki, and my colleague Milka Gikunju. And we are the ones responsible for setting up your Turnitin accounts. And we also provide training on how to use those Turnitin accounts. For students, we do not directly give students Turnitin access. They get their access through enrollment by their supervisors into the classes that the supervisor has created within their Turnitin account. So it is for the supervisor to give access to the students through enrollment. When a student is enrolled, as you saw me do, what will happen, I can just go back to where that was again, just a moment. Yeah, this is where we did the enrollment. And you remember I entered first name, last name, and email address. Now this email address for student enrollment, we want to strongly urge that it should only be the assigned University of Nairobi students' email address and not any other email address. Do not enroll your students using their Gmail accounts or their Yahoo accounts. It is very important that you use the University of Nairobi, the official University of Nairobi students' email account. Okay? And once that is done, the student will receive an email on that student's email account. They will receive an email stating that they have been enrolled or they have been invited to join a class created by their supervisor. And there will be a link in that email. So when they click on the link, they'll be able to set up their password. And once they've done that, they'll be able to log in. Now, the access to students, the access given to students is restricted in the sense that they are only able to submit a paper. Okay, they will not have access to any settings or anything like that. The students are only able to submit a paper into that class into which they have been enrolled. And once they do that, the supervisor or the instructor will see on their end that some work has been submitted into this class. And they'll also be able to see the percentage and everything, basically. It's a way of submitting an assignment to your instructor through Turnitin. Yeah, so that once the supervisor opens Turnitin, they can immediately see that, yes, you have submitted your work, whether it was an assignment or a proposal or whatever. And also they will immediately be able to see the similarity percentage, the quality of this work. Okay. There's another trend where students want to go outside of the University of Nairobi to have their work checked for similarity. Well, this is something that we have advised against for a long time now. We do not recommend for students to go outside of the University of Nairobi to have their work checked by anyone out there, even if it's a friend in another university. But mostly what we are seeing is that there are bureaus out here which offer Turnitin testing as a service, where students go and pay about 500 shillings and they have their work run for similarity checking. I should state right now that Turnitin does not deal with individuals, because you have to ask yourself, how did they get a Turnitin account? The subscription fee is quite high, and it does not serve Turnitin to deal with individuals. So Turnitin deals with institutions such as the University of Nairobi. It does not license individuals. So if someone out there tells you, I have a Turnitin account which I have subscribed to, then that is a lie. You have to question where they got this Turnitin account from. And what we have found is that there are some online spaces where hacked Turnitin accounts are sold. Yeah, complete with a username and a password, so that now one can buy it and just go log in and continue using. What they don't understand is how to set the parameters how to configure the settings so that, for example, any paper that is submitted there will not be saved into the Turnitin repository, the Turnitin database of student papers. So most of the time when students go outside of the University of Nairobi, this is what ends up happening. Their work ends up being captured into the Turnitin repository. And because it is a hacked account, and we have found that some of these accounts are even of foreign countries. There's students who've come to us asking us for assistance. And when we checked what the problem was, we found that somehow their work had ended up in a Turnitin account belonging to a university in the United Kingdom, in Pakistan, in the US. Now, you must understand that we do not have jurisdiction over the Turnitin accounts of another institution. There is really nothing we will be able to do. And it will be really up to you, because you have been warned, do not go outside of the University of Nairobi to have your work checked for similarity. You are only allowed to go to your supervisor. And this is the other thing, because we get reports of students coming to us having been sent by their supervisors to come to the library to get their work checked. As I mentioned, we are only 2 of us in the library, and we are admins. We do not check the students' work. Our work is to provide training to the instructors, and also to create their accounts for them, and troubleshoot whenever there's an issue. But we don't deal directly with students. Once we've set up a supervisor, we expect now that the supervisor will take up that responsibility of checking the students' work. Okay? So kindly, if there is any supervisor out there, any instructor that is having challenges understanding how to navigate Turnitin, we are happy to come in and give a refresher training, such as this one, so that you can take up that responsibility, and your student will not feel cornered. Yeah, we will not help them when they come to us, and if you are the one who sent them to us, then they feel, they're just hanging there in the middle, and this is what ends up compelling them to go outside of the University of Nairobi and getting into that kind of trouble that I just gave an example of. And we have many cases of this. Yeah, there are quite a number. As in, if you have 5 cases, then those are many, because there should not be any. The University of Nairobi has subscribed to this tool to aid our students in improving on their academic writing. So with that, I don't think there's any more to add. I would welcome a discourse right now where we can discuss some of these things that I have mentioned, or if there's anyone who requires clarification on any particular area, I would at this time open the floor for questions. And I can see some hands are raised. There's a Rosemary. Kindly go ahead.
Maybe there are some questions. Maybe we can start with those ones first, listed, and then now we open the forum.
Okay, let me see in the chat. Let me see what questions are there. Let me scroll to the top, then I can come down. Okay, that is not a question. Let me see. Looking for questions. Some are just comments. Let me just scroll down and see. There's one question, and it says here, once students are enrolled, can they be able to submit their work and get their reports? Why would the system not generate a report? For some reports, and in some cases take longer, a day or 2, while others just take a few minutes using the same environment. In this case, internet facility, does the facility we have check for AI generated work? what should one deduce when you get a red flag? What should one deduce when you get a submission alert? Exclamation mark. Okay, let me start at the top. Once the students are enrolled, can they be able to submit their work and get the reports? Yes, they can. However, I don't know if you were with me when I was going through the assignment settings. There is a part where the instructor, the owner of the account, can disable the students being able to view the report. Yeah. Say, for example, this is a situation where for whatever reason, the instructor might decide not to allow the students to be able to view the report. It is a setting, actually. Let me just go to it and show you where that is. So if I go to more actions, edit assignment settings, and then I go to optional settings, you see here where it says below similarity report. I don't know if you have that. Below similarity report, there is generate similarity reports for student submissions. When you check that, it will generate. And then the second one where I said generate reports immediately, students can resubmit until due date. I think that also answers the question that was there. And then allow students to view similarity report. So if I disable this, right now it is enabled. If I disable it, then even an enrolled student who has submitted their work won't be able to see the report percentage because the instructor disabled it. But we encourage instructors to enable it so that students can see the similarity percentage that comes back. Okay, so I hope that answers that question. Why would the system not generate a report for some and in some cases take longer? Okay, that has answered that question. Okay, in terms of it taking longer, there's a limit that I should mention. So students are allowed to resubmit up to 3 times in 24 hours. So if you've exceeded those 3 times, then you will find it may fail to respond. Yeah, but if you try after 24 hours, you will find that it has now given you another 3 opportunities, so it will be able to respond the following day. And this is to ensure that students are not just submitting, after a very short review, you think that now it has reduced, you submit again after every 5 minutes. There's also a way that can serve to overload the system. So it limits you up to 3 submissions within a day, after which you have to wait for the another 24 hours the following day. So the one that you submitted, if you have exceeded the 3 times and then you submit a 4th time, that one will hang indefinitely. So it might even be hanging for a day or 2 or more. So what you do is that you just cancel it, wait for 24 hours and resubmit the following day. That should explain why it remains hanging for so long. So does the facility have a check for AI generated work? So our current subscription to Turnitin did not include AI checking, but we can assure you that in the next one, we will include the AI tool alongside similarity checking. So at the moment, it is not there. It was not included in this year's subscription to Turnitin, but we are working on ensuring that it will be there in the next subscription in just a few months. So kindly bear with us. So what should one deduce when you get a red flag? So a red flag could mean a number of things. And this is for the instructor or the supervisor to investigate. So when you click on the red flag, it will give you some possible scenarios. So it could be, you can get a red flag if the student's work has been, or if the system has noted that the student's work has too much or too many quotations used. Yeah. So if there's an overuse of quotes of quotation marks, a red flag will appear. If the student's work has the ratio of the main body to the size of the references, if the references are so many, there will be a red flag. Or if the system identifies that there could be some foul play afoot, foul play like a student is trying to use hidden words, there will be a red flag. Yeah, and so this is prompting the instructor to investigate further. And next to the red flag, it will even point you to a possible area within the main body where the instructor needs to investigate. Okay, sometimes red flags doesn't mean that there really is foul play on the part of the student. It could be a false positive. Yeah, it could be, you know, just for the instructor to investigate and find out. Sometimes it could be nothing. Sometimes it could be something. Yeah, so the system can only check so far, but there is also need for input by the instructor to check where the system is not able to make a final determination on what is actually happening. So the instructor now needs to come in and do that investigation. And that's what the red flag means. Okay, so I think I've answered that question. Let me see if there's another. Someone says, I came quite late. I don't know if this question has already been answered, but my work keeps giving me red flags as though I have plagiarized on the cover, but everything written there is a university requirement, meaning it has to be there. How do I solve it? Okay. So there, again, this is a suggestion. At the beginning of every student's work, there is the cover page, which contains the University of Nairobi, the title, the University of Nairobi, and then there's some details there about submitted in partial fulfillment of a master's or PhD program in this and this and this. And then after that, you will have things like acknowledgement, dedication, abbreviation, and even table of contents. And we have noted, as someone is asking here, that these tend to be colored, you know, highlighted, as it is indicating that, you know, this work is plagiarized. But the reason for that is because all students write that. Yeah, as part of the requirement of formatting your work properly, it must contain all those details. So when we are submitting work, my suggestion is, and again, this is a suggestion, my suggestion to instructors and to the departments out there, you may want to consider maybe leaving out these initial pages, these preliminary pages that contain that information, which is similar across all students' works, because it contributes to the percentage, to increasing the percentage to some degree. So for you to have a very accurate percentage, my suggestion is you may want to leave out those pages and maybe just start the work from the abstract. Of course, have a page that shows the student's name and title of their work, and then start with the abstract immediately after that, and then chapter 1 to 5. That way you're only submitting the main body, what the student has actually researched on, the main body of the work. You will find also that toward the end of the document, the appendices, for example, where you have the questionnaire and maybe a data set for PhD students who may include data sets. These data sets are not, in most cases, are not the student's own creation. the data set could be a data set borrowed from some other researcher's work. Yeah, it does not belong to the student. So because it belongs to someone else, and students are allowed to use data sets, including it in the similarity checking might result in a situation where that data set is flagged as being similar to some other work found online. Okay, so you may also want to consider leaving out some appendices. Sometimes even the questionnaire can be similar. It doesn't mean that the student plagiarized the questionnaire. It's only because some of the questions there are similar to some other students' questions somewhere. So again, this is a suggestion. I'm not saying that you go ahead and do this. I'm just bringing this to your attention, that those areas could be contributing to a high percentage. And when you really think about it, they don't constitute the main body of the research work the student was doing. So I don't know, maybe at the departmental level, you can decide on whether to leave out or include those areas when you're checking a student's work for similarity. Let me see if there's another question. How long should the TSI report take to be produced? Is it possible for one document to have different reports with different TSI percentage? Kindly educate me on what TSI is. Maybe I'm not too familiar with that abbreviation. Okay, someone is saying I'm following, but I'm waiting to see how you can check AI similarity. Again, I apologize. We currently are not subscribed to the AI tool, but we soon will. We will have it in our next subscription. What does placeholder mean? Oh, I think you saw that placeholder is where the name should have been. Don't mind about that. That I was using a much earlier version of Turnitin before they implemented some of the changes that are visible right now. So just disregard that. That is where the name should be, the student's name. Please mention something about the student platform. I think I did. Should I? Okay, because I enrolled myself, actually, let me do this. When I was enrolling students for the demonstration, I actually added my details to enroll myself. So what should the student see once they have been enrolled into a class by their supervisor? And if you can see, this is my email. When I was doing the student enrollment, I used my details, you'll remember. So this is the email that came to me. So let me just open that. And it says, welcome to Turnitin. You have been enrolled in the class PhD Project Planning and Management by, the supervisor. Ready to get started, click below to log in and begin submitting your papers. So this is what the student will see when they are enrolled by their supervisor. So they will receive this email, and what they need to do is to click on that red button. Which brings them to this page where now they can enter their details, student's email and password. And when they log in, sorry, 1 second. Had I new user? Click here. 1 second. I'm trying to understand something. What changed? Because when I log in, actually what should happen, let me just move back. I log in, sign in with Google, and the student interface, when the student signs in, will look like this. Okay, and so here is the class, because you'll notice at the top here, I've now signed in as a student. Okay, if you can see where my cursor is, on the top left area, where then there's the name, user, info, messages, and then student. So this is the student interface. And these are the classes I am enrolled into. The one that we created is this one here, PhD Project Planning Management. So when I click on that class as a student, it will bring me here. So this is what students will experience. Yeah, you can see that. So what the student now needs to do, when they click on open, let me just take one step back. Again, I clicked on the class name, which was PhD Project Planning and Management. So when I clicked on that class, I went into the class, and within the class, there was the assignment. You remember this assignment that we created? PhD Project Planning 2024-2025. This is the assignment that the instructor has created. So if the instructor creates another assignment, it will also be listed here below this PhD Project Planning 2024-2025. Yeah. So the student has access to the various assignments that the instructor creates. And because the instructor may give different assignments, they may give one assignment and say, this is a term paper. Yeah. And then the instructor goes ahead and creates an assignment under this class and names it term paper. So that whenever the student logs in, they know which assignment to submit where. Okay, so if it was the term paper, they know this term paper, I have to submit it under this class. If it is a proposal, there's an assignment for proposal. If it is an ongoing thesis, then they will submit it under PhD Project Planning 2024-2025. Okay, so the student will then now click on the respective assignment. Let's just say it is this one. Click on open. And you'll remember this is the paper that we submitted as the demo. Okay. The student will be able to see the similarity by clicking on it, and be able to even download, you'll be able to download the report if the instructor has enabled that feature to happen, for the student to be able to see the similarity and even download. Okay.
Student approach the work, please.
Sorry?
How the student approach the work, because you've just shown how the student opens. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I came in late, so if I'm taking you back, I'm sorry, forgive me. How can the student then from there approach the work?
Okay, yes, sawa. Let me get to that. Let me get to that in a minute. So you see these buttons here. I don't know if you can see where my cursor is right now.
Yes,
so
I
the
can.
student, yeah, when I'm pointing at the arrow pointing up, and you can see there's a caption that appears, resubmit paper. So for a student to upload, because now when a student uploads, if they need to upload again, it will be done as a resubmission. There will be no continuous record of papers. So it will be a resubmission. So if I have done corrections on an assignment and I now want to resubmit, I will click on that. So confirm resubmission. Resubmissions are allowed for this assignment until the due date passes. All marks and comments associated will be deleted if it is resubmitted. So the previous work is deleted, or it is overwritten, and one is able to upload afresh. So when I click on confirm, it will now ask me to upload a submission. So this is the student interface. Okay. So the students can now enter the title of their work there, and then choose a file. Yeah. So enter the student title, and then when I click on choose file, I am able to browse to where now as the student, where I have saved my work. Yeah, and then upload it. Yeah, then there's this blue button that appears on the bottom right, sorry. So when I click upload and review, it is now submitting, or rather it is now uploading. Let's just give it a minute to finish. So in a situation where there was nothing already submitted, I think when I came in through this direction, there was already something submitted, the title that is there, hydroponic fodder. But okay, now it has finished. So I now need to confirm. You must click confirm to complete your upload. So when I click on confirm, now it will just go submission completed. That's what it says there. So I should mention how long it takes to check a paper depends on the size of the document. That first paper that we uploaded as a demo was just a single page. So it finished almost instantaneously. But if you're checking a master's project of about 80 to 100 pages, it might take about 4 or 5 minutes. If it is a larger document like a PhD thesis in excess of 200 pages, it might take longer. Okay. So yeah, that is basically how to upload a paper as a student. I hope the gentleman who requested that is now clear.
Well, yeah, it's clear that you started with a submission, not a first submission, but it's okay.
Okay, then what I can do, let me do this. Let me go back. I want to make sure that we completely understand this. What I'm going to do, I'll go and create. Let me go to instructor. And I go to the class that we created, PhD project planning. And now within this class, PhD project planning, I'm going to add another assignment, which I'm going to name term papers. And I will not submit anything to it. I will go and log in again as a student. And then we will see how it works through that side. So title, term papers, September to December 2024. Yeah. So that's the new assignment that we've created. Term papers, September to December 2024. Now, I don't need to go into optional settings because I am confident that you remember when we configured the settings earlier and we instructed it to save those settings for future assignments. Now I am sure that the same assignments will be applied to even this assignment. The same settings will be applied to this assignment. So I can just proceed. So I'll click on submit. So we have created another assignment called term papers. So you can see if we go to the class PhD project planning and management, there are now 2 assignments within it. The one that we created earlier, PhD project planning 2024-2025, and the one that we've created right now, term papers, September to December 2024. So now I will go to the student interface. Yeah, this is a student interface, and then I'm going to go into that class, PhD project planning and management. And you can see that now there are 2 assignments. Previously, there was just one, PhD project planning 2024-2025. The one that we've added, term papers, has no submission. So I will go to open. And you can see it's blank. There's nothing. There's just one button that says upload submission. So I think this is what you're asking. How should it work? Yeah. So if a student enrolls into a class where there's nothing submitted to it, this is what they will see. Yeah. And all they will need to do is to click on upload submission. And from here now, they can enter the title of their work. And below the title, they can click on choose file, which will allow them to browse to where their work is saved. And this is I think we were together when we went through this process. I want to do it a second time. They'll be able to upload their work and proceed as I have demonstrated previously. So I hope up to that point we are clear. We are together.
Yeah, I'm clear. And what about? Well, I'm sorry. I'm taking people back what they have done. I don't know whether I read you finish with them. Then probably I can consult later.
Okay.
Yeah, because I wanted to know also as a lecturer or as an instructor how I can do the same. But it was my mistake. I joined late, so I don't want to hold people hostage for what they have done. Probably.
No, just ask. I think we can. They
No, I
might
just
also
wanted
benefit
to
from
ask
your
as
question.
an instructor how to wear abroad, because actually I was trying to do something and then I called Mirika, to seek help. Then she told me there's
Yes.
a training ongoing. So that's when I joined. I had been stuck actually in approaching
So
a student's work and I was looking for assistance.
So
That's
as an
why I
instructor,
joined the training.
you want to upload your own work or you want to upload a student's work?
Students' work.
Okay. Yes, I had actually already covered that area, but I will go over it again briefly. I mentioned that as an instructor, first thing, create class using that button there. Once you created your class, you go into the class and add an assignment. And once you have added your assignment, go into that assignment. No, actually, before you go into the assignment, you need to have enrolled your student. So go to students on the top left, right below the Turnitin logo. There are those tabs there. There's assignments and then students. Click on students and then click on add students on the right side. And here you'll be able to enter your students' details. Enter their first name, their last name, and their student's email address, the University of Nairobi student's email address. Do not enroll your students using their Gmails or their Yahoo email addresses. Make sure it is the official University of Nairobi students' email address. So once you've entered their details there, click on submit, and you will have enrolled your students. So the enrolled students appear here. You can see under students, I've only enrolled one student. I enrolled myself. Yeah, so there's just one student. If you enroll more students, they will be listed here. Okay. Now you are ready to upload your students' work. So again, on the top left, below the Turnitin logo, click on assignments. It will bring you here. Click on view to view the assignment. Nothing has been submitted into this assignment. So again, this is the instructor's approach to submitting a student's work. To the left side, there's a blue submit button. If you click on submit, it will bring you to this page where you can select the student whose work you want to upload. So under author, select student, click on select student, a drop down will appear, select the student, because I'm assuming by now you've enrolled maybe 3 or 4 students. So when you click on the drop down, their names will appear here. So you will select which student whose work you want to upload. Select the student, their names will automatically be filled in these areas here. So now all you need to do is to enter the student's work, the student's title, sorry. Once you've entered the title, you can come down here and select this button, choose from this computer. When you click on choose from this computer, it will allow you to browse to where you have saved the student's work. Maybe it's in your desktop or it is in your downloads folder. You'll be able to navigate to where you have saved the student's work and you'll be able to upload it. Once it is uploaded, click on confirm, click on upload, then confirm the process of similarity checking will begin. So I hope it is now clear up to that point. I think there was some, yes.
Yeah, I'm saying thank you very much. I would request that you send us the training because I've tried to access the one that is on the library portal. It is either saying the page is unresponsive, or it tells me to wait for so long, then it takes me to exit and so on. So if you could kindly drop for me the training in my email, that would help me so that I catch up with what you have done with the rest. I also
Yes.
keep on trying to access the one on the library portal, but it's not helping me.
Okay, so what I will do, I am recording this training session, and once it is over, I will download the video and I will replace the one that is on the website, the library website, with this one, because this is the most current, and it is also covering areas of key interest. So I will change that video. But if you find that you are encountering challenges, we can do a one-on-one. I am happy to guide you using
you
your
very much.
own interface. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Karibu sana. There was some additional questions. What happens if my supervisor delays in enrolling me on Turnitin? What happens if the supervisor delays? I don't know why the supervisor should delay. I think if there are any supervisors in the audience, let's try and accommodate our students so that they are not left behind in their work. And someone is asking, why can't the institution give students access to check similarity threshold of their work? The institution will give students access through their supervisor. Okay, that's just how it works. There is student access and then there is instructor access. It can't be the same thing. I hope you can appreciate that. So once, as administrators, we give access to instructors, then the instructors will give access to their students through enrollment. That's how it works. And we are appealing to the instructors to enroll their students. And even as you're enrolling your students, make sure that those who have finished, you drop them. Make sure you drop them so that they create room for new students who are ongoing to be able to be enrolled. Okay. So someone is asking, why is the university so strict in allowing students access to Turnitin? No, it is, the university is not strict. There's just a process that needs to be followed, which I believe I have explained. Do you offer training on referencing and citation? Yes, we do offer training on referencing and citation, and we will be releasing a calendar of training events for the coming days and weeks to the university. Whenever we have a training, an upcoming training, it will be announced via email through the office of the corporate office. And we also post upcoming trainings on the library website. Let me guide you on the library website where you can find information on upcoming trainings. So this is the library website. If you come to events at the top here, if you can see where my cursor is, there is this list of links at the top here. If you click on events, you will be able to see upcoming events. So for example, we had posted today's training on Turnitin, September the 13th, it is posted there. And the link to join is also made available there. If you scroll down, you will see past training activities that we have had, one of which is what you are asking about, training on Zotero referencing and citation. It is there. We also offer training on access to electronic information resources. We offer training on increasing research visibility and many other topics which you will be able to which we will benefit from. So I urge you to visit the library website, check under events to find out which trainings are lined up in the coming days and weeks. Could you share the recording later? Yes, I will share this recording. What I will do, I will update the link. I will change the link that is there on the library website. For these trainings, or rather for recorded sessions of past trainings, we include them on the library website under important links. If you come to, let me go to home. So again, this is the library website. So if you scroll down to where you find important links listed there, you will see guides and presentation. It is the fourth link. So if you click on guides and presentation, you will find a list of links, some of which are training sessions, earlier training sessions that we have recorded. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to update the video on Turnitin. So I will replace it with the current one, the one for today, and you will find it here. Okay.
Timothy,
How do I log?
Timothy? How we
Yes,
can
someone is asking a question.
it's me, Rosemary.
Oh yes, go ahead.
Yeah, maybe there are some people whose hands have been up all through.
Yes.
Maybe they have some, yeah, they have some needs, issues to ask. You can give
Yeah.
them, like, I can see you're only having 10 minutes to go. And then you'll give me at least 1 minute to go through some areas of concern.
Sure. So I apologize for those who've had their hands up for quite some time now. Maybe I can invite you to ask. There's Jeff Usaji.
Yes, I am here.
Yes.
And thank you for the brief. Mine is
Yes.
a very simple one. Turnitin has proved to be troublesome for supervisors in the sense that if you run a thesis and then a student does revisions, if you run it again, it shows sometimes even 100% plagiarism. And
Yes.
This has been an issue. I have raised it several times even during these trainings, but we rarely get comprehensive answers. Most of the time we've had to come to the library for you to do some alcababra somewhere to remove the retained previous versions of the thesis. Is there a way in which, as a supervisor, I don't have to come to the library to see you guys to remove
Yes.
the retained versions of the thesis so that we also curb on time? Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for that question. And I want to push back a bit because this is an area that we focus on a lot. I think it's not proper to say that we don't address it. And I even covered it today. So I will go back to that area, that specific setting that causes the work to be, as you said, retained within the Turnitin system. So I will go back to it, and this is actually a very important area. Let me just go back to what causes that to happen. I'll go to the class that we created and the assignment that we created there. Actually, let me take one step back because we need to look at the assignment settings. It is all in the assignment settings. So we are going to look at more actions and then edit assignment, which will take us into the assignment settings. And the area that causes what you've described to happen is this one here. Submit papers to. Okay? And you're seeing in mine, it says do not store the submitted paper. The alternative is standard paper repository. So if in your account, your assignment settings have been set to say standard paper repository, then this means that every time you submit a student's paper, it will be saved into this standard paper repository. And I was saying, this is not the UONE repository. This is the Turnitin database of papers. So if your settings are like this and you submit work and it ends up being captured, if that work had some corrections to be done, the second time that you run the work, it will be checked against the saved copy. And instead of the percentage coming down, it may double, triple, or even get to 100%. So what we encourage you to do, and this is very serious, review your assignment settings and make sure that under submit papers 2, it says do not store submitted papers. This is how it should be. Do not store submitted papers. And this will fix that problem, as in you will not find that it is being checked against itself, because no paper will be saved into the Turnitin database. In a situation where the student's work has already been captured into the Turnitin database, what you as the instructor needs to do is you need to go to the record. Yeah. And so, for example, this is a record. Okay. Select that record and then go to options. I hope you're moving together. If you move to the right side under options, click those 3 dots that appear there. And then select on the drop down that appear when you click on the 3 dots, there's some options there. Click on request permanent deletion. Now this is for the instructor to do within his or her interface. Okay, select request permanent deletion. Permanent deletion request, you're about to send a request for this paper to be deleted permanently from Turnitin. We will delete the uploaded file, any grading, and the similarity report as soon as we have approval from your Turnitin administrator. So when you request permanent deletion, that request comes to us, one of the 2 administrators, and we will approve the permanent deletion of that paper, after which you will not see that thing happening again. Okay, but to avert this, I'll click on continue. When I click on continue, there's some details about that paper, reason for deleting. Now you as the instructor has to give a reason for deleting by clicking on the drop-down menu, and you can select one of the options that are given there. You can say, didn't know that the paper would appear in similarity matches. You can give that as a reason and then click on continue. And when you click on continue, it will ask you to type delete in full caps. Delete. Type delete to confirm. So you type in delete there and then you click on confirm. And so that request will go to your administrator, whether it is me or my colleague, Milka Gikunjo, and we will approve a deletion of that paper. But to avert this from happening, you need to make sure that you have the right settings, the right assignment settings. Make sure where I have shown you, make sure it says do not store submitted paper. Okay, so I hope that answers that question, Bonosaji.
Yeah, I'm satisfied. Thank you very much for the upgrade.
Sawa sawa, karibu sana.
Maybe you can give me just 1 minute. I can see time is moving. Just to
Yes.
emphasize on some of the issues that you have explained.
Yes.
And raised as concerns. One thing is that, because I can see people reducing, the participants reducing, and I would really want the supervisors to hear this. One thing is about enrollment. We have a lot of duplicates. And for us to reduce those duplicates, please go to your classes, remove all the students that have already graduated. Like now we are expecting some students to graduate in September. By October, please remove those students that have already graduated. Because one thing we know is that we have only 2,000 licenses, and these licenses are very expensive. We find that we are paying over 2 million for these 2,000 licenses. And if we increase, it will be a bit difficult. And we are increasing, and yet we have duplicates. So please, us on our side, the library cannot delete or remove those duplicates. It is the instructors that should remove. And one of the reasons why we are having duplicates is that some students, you are re-enrolling students twice. You may enroll using Gmail, you may enroll using the UON, so you enroll so many students, maybe using different email numbers. So please ensure that the students that you enroll must only have UON student emails. Then about when you remove, for example, now we are having over 3,000 licenses that have been used, and yet we have subscribed to only 2,000. So we expect you to please remove all the duplicates or the double enrollment. Then about issues about us when we remove them, you don't expect that to happen immediately. When you remove the students, it may take around 24 hours for this to be reduced, for the enrollment to be reduced. So please make sure, and that's why we are having problems. Sometimes now you are trying to enroll students or even to enroll students, and it is maybe the system is rejecting or refusing. So please, let's do that. And I do hope that we requested now, because we had so much that now the lecturers could not enroll more students. So we requested the Turnitin to increase our licenses, and they have increased by 4,000 just for this graduation time, just to give us space to ensure that we graduate our students. But after that, please just delete the 2,000, because we are 3,500. So it means we are having duplicates of 1,500. So please, I would really urge you to do that to be able to remove all the duplicates, and help us to help you, because if you don't drop these students, then we will not be able even to enroll any. So that is something that I really wanted to emphasize on, that you ensure that we remove the duplicates. Then training, we have, if you really want physical training, because some people are so used to physical training, if you can come together, maybe 5 people, 5 supervisors, and you call one of us, you call Timothy or you call Milka, we'll be able to come where you are and take you through, so that we can understand some of the concepts that maybe you may not have understood when you are online. So those are the 2 areas that I just wanted to emphasize before people start leaving. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam Director, for those words. I think it is of great importance that we heed this advice so that Turnitin is easier to use. I think it is of our own doing to some degree that we have been experiencing these challenges because of, as Madam Director has mentioned, duplicate enrollment.
Sorry.
And also lack of dropping students when they've. Yes, please.
May I kindly interrupt? Sorry, but you've requested us to do something that is important. I agree with you. However, kindly show us, those who are still here and are willing to help you. We've been told to delete the duplicates or delete the students who are no longer there. Could you kindly, in this short period of time, show us quickly how to do that so that we can help you? Once we know how to do it, we can even tell others how to do it.
Okay. Yeah, sure. So again, the students we are talking about dropping are those that have been enrolled. So in the area where you enrolled them, and I would direct you to the top left corner where the Turnitin logo is. Right below it, there's assignments, and next to assignments, there's students. So if you go to students, you will see, if you can see now where my cursor is, I've just highlighted it. Below it, this is where the list of enrolled students would appear. And what you're saying is that most of us have students enrolled who have already cleared and have even left the university. So those are the students we are urging you to go through your lists and drop. And to drop the student, you just need to come to where the student's name is and move across to the right side where you see drop, and below it there's a bin icon. So if you click on that bin, and I'm just going to drop this particular student, click on bin, and it says now, are you sure you want to drop student Timothy Nzioki? Click on OK. And you can see now it's no longer there. That record is no longer there.
right.
I came across one of our instructors.
Timothy.
Thank you.
Yes.
May I ask a
Timothy,
follow-up
how do I
question,
drop those who are not enrolled? I also have quite a number I want to drop right now. Those who had not been enrolled but are still there in a class previously.
And is there a way of going easy about it? You have a class that has so many, one by one. Is there a way of doing a bulk drop?
We actually consulted with Turnitin on this. At the moment, there is no way to do a bulk drop. You literally just have to go one by one, dropping them. That's why I was saying if you can just take a moment, maybe even 10 minutes or so, to just go through that list and just drop those students, it would help. At the moment, there's no way to drop them in bulk. It just has to be one by one.
And those who existed before the enrollment.
Those who existed before the enrollment.
How do I drop them? Because there are quite a number for me, Timothy.
I don't know. Okay, they appear in the assignment inbox, yeah?
Yes,
as submitted works.
Yes.
Now, are those assignments still active? Because I would imagine that by now they have expired. Those classes have expired.
No, I'm making the assumption that I have a PhD class here and a master's class that was created for 2 years.
Okay, I'll give you, let me just show you, and then maybe you can tell me if this is what it looks like, because where is it? Where had I seen that? I'll just pick this. Because you see, what I've picked is one of my expired classes. Yeah. If you, I'll pick this, MLIS semester 4, 2017.
Yeah.
This
probably,
is
Timothy, I will just probably pay a visit. I'll come to the library. Probably you will just show me how to drop that. I'll visit.
Yeah, sure.
I'll visit the library. I will do that.
Okay. But I'll just go ahead and just give this demonstration. Maybe it may answer the question still. So if I open this class, it is an expired class, and then I go to view. It shows that there's a record of submitted papers. And then someone was asking me earlier why under author it says placeholder. Yeah, it says placeholder because at that earlier time, there were those students whose details were here, their names. But since the requirement of enrolling a student came, those names were deleted, and now it remains to be just placeholder. The records exist, but where the name should be, it says placeholder. This means that there is no student there. I don't know if it is the same thing you're seeing, but it may seem like there is someone enrolled. Yeah, so in a situation like this, there is no student enrolled. It looks like there is, but it is an expired class, and if once it has expired.
Okay, now I understand.
Any students whose name was there is dropped automatically. Yeah, so I think that is it. Is there any other question? I don't know if the Bona Vincent Cheng.
Tim,
Yes.
Tim, how are you?
Mzuri sana.
Thank you for the wonderful presentation. I really appreciate. And mine is more of a request from my side. It's regarding the technical ability of the university staff. I appreciate some are tech savvy, but also some are not. So I was just wondering, as the admin of the system, why is it possible for you to come up with the minimum settings for Turnitin that is best, will give the best experience for both instructors and the students? For example, there's a lot of concern regarding submitted work and the student not able to view the report in good time. Some are even stating that it can even take more than a month. So I'll really appreciate if maybe as the admin, you come up with minimum default setting that will give the best experience for both instructors and the students. I don't know how possible that is.
Thank you so much for that comment. And I want to say right now, during these sessions when I'm training, what I give are the minimum settings as they should be. But then it's not possible for me to make them static across all accounts. So I will make recommendations on what the settings should be. But then the responsibility now, and this is again because of how Turnitin has been structured, I cannot dictate how an instructor will configure their settings. I can only make recommendations and also inform them of the implications should they have the wrong settings. Yeah. So what I have given, and I think you've been with me since we began this session today, what I have detailed are what the best minimum settings should be. Those are my recommendations. But now when it comes to the instructor on their end, sometimes you find either because of the unique situation in that department, or maybe a lack of not knowing, having forgotten, they end up with somewhat different settings, which would give a different result from one that I would get if I ran the work myself. So what I have been giving through this session, that is what we would recommend as the minimum settings.
I appreciate that, team. What I'm referring to is...
Maybe let me just add up on what Timothy is saying. For example, when it comes to science-based units or courses and art-based courses, you know, like science, you'll find that there are so many, maybe, or what are they called? The calculation methods and all that. So you cannot, Timothy cannot say that the minimum, for example, the number of words to exempt are 5. So it is the departments now to come up with their own guidelines to make a decision whether they should be 5 or 0. There are some departments even who are asking us why we are saying 5, why we recommend for 5. You see, so if we come up with a minimum, it will really come out badly, because there are some departments that are asking us why 5? Why are you saying 5 and yet we recommend for 0? It depends on areas, the units, the department, the courses, and what you come up with. But what we give is just the recommendations, and then you decide as a department. I hope maybe I've answered that question and added what Timothy has said.
Yeah, thank you, Rosemary. So I hope that answer is that question is answered. Yeah.
It is, Tim. Thank you a lot.
Yes. We are working also with, we have limits as to how much we can do. That's really just the situation. Someone is mentioning to me here that there's something I did not answer. What should one deduce when you get submission alert exclamation mark? Okay, yeah, that I may have forgotten. So the exclamation mark, if you look at now, let's use this as an example, and you can see at the beginning of the title, there's an exclamation mark. So actually, if you click on it, it will tell you what it is alerting you about. Yeah, so you can see there, I clicked on the exclamation mark and it is telling me submissions alert, high bibliographic exclusion. a large portion of this paper is comprised of quoted material that has been excluded as an assignment setting. You can re-include bibliographic material in the assignment settings. Yeah. So what that means is that the system has noticed that this particular document has a very large bibliographic area. Maybe the references are quite a number. You find sometimes references exceeding 20, 30 pages. And so when that happens, Turnitin will identify that as a possible area of concern for the instructor to investigate. So that's just what it means. So when you click on submission alert, the exclamation mark, it will give you some information on what you might need to investigate about. Yeah. So it says high bibliographic exclusion. Okay. So, and if it also gives you the option of re-including those bibliographies so that it can then recalculate or maybe reassess those the references area to see if there's an issue. And if there is, maybe even recalculate the percentage. Basically, it is calling for the instructor to, as I mentioned earlier, do a bit of investigating. Okay. So I think that one is answered also. Is there a way that a few pages can be excluded from the report, even when the student uploads a complete file with the cover page? Now, no. Once you've uploaded and included the cover page and those preliminary pages, you can't remove them from what has already been run. So the best thing is to exclude those pages before you submit the document. And this should be easy because if the work has been sent to the instructor and it is in Word format, then it's easy to just delete those pages, yeah, before you submit the work to Turnitin. That's the best time to exclude the pages before you submit the work. It appears that the university's current subscription to Turnitin is limited to postgraduate students. Are there plans to integrate Turnitin with a platform like Mitihani so that undergraduate essays can be checked for plagiarism and AI-generated content? I have to be honest, that is not a discussion that has been had yet, but it is important that you have raised it. And if it becomes clear that it is of great significance for such an integration to be done, then I'm sure with incoming months, that could be a possibility. It may well be integrated. So Turnitin is troublesome. If you run the same work severally, Turnitin retains the same work and treats it as plagiarized. No, it is not because you've run it severally. Yeah, you can run it 1,000,000 times. Yeah, but if you have the correct settings, it will not be treated as plagiarized. The whole self-plagiarism thing arises when there has been incorrect settings. Yeah, and I addressed how you can prevent that from happening. So how long should the Turnitin Similarity Index report take to be produced? Is it possible for one document to have different reports within the same Turnitin Similarity Index? Do references count on the Turnitin Similarity Index? No. If you are following when I mentioned when I was covering the assignment settings part, there was a place where you can instruct the system to exclude bibliographic material. And when you enable that, it will be able to identify what falls under references and it will automatically exclude it. Okay, so how long should Similarity Index report take to be produced? I also addressed this. It depends on the size of the document. A PhD document might take longer than a master's project or even a proposal, which then means that a proposal, being small in number of pages, should take a much shorter time. Okay. Is it possible for one document to have different reports with different Turnitin similarity index percentages? Now, that's an interesting question. Is it possible for one document to have different reports with different percentages? Well, if it's the same title, but it is in different stages of completion. So if you begin at proposal stage, and then you, several weeks or months down the line, you have a more complete document, it will definitely have different percentages, because one, the one that comes later has been enriched much more than it was at proposal stage. I don't know if that's what you're asking. What format of document from the student's perspective is required to be submitted, Word or PDF? I think Word is always better. Word is what I would recommend, although it'll still check if it's in PDF, but I would recommend Word. How can we reach out to you for the one-on-one training? Okay, I will only accept if you're an instructor. If you're a supervisor, you can reach out to me. If you're a student, then there's you're only reaching out to me if there's been a problem. So, but for training, you can get in touch with me via my email. If you're an instructor, I'll just put my email there on the chat.
Timothy,
So my email on the chat.
Timothy,
Yes.
you can also share the online, because when you have problems, please reach out on the online help desk, because sometimes Timothy may not be there and we need to help you or to assist you. So
Yes.
you find that maybe you have
Yeah.
to Timothy and he's not responding. So we also have an online help.
We have a library help desk feature on the library website. So if you come to the library website, this is the library website. Scroll down below important links, below the events calendar, you will see help desk. Yeah, so if you click on this link, request resource or make an inquiry, it will open this page. It will open this page where there's a form, a library help desk form, where you can enter your email, your name, select your user category. Are you a student, postgraduate, undergrad, academic staff, or other? Your faculty, the subject area of your query, and then state your query in greater detail. And then when you submit this form, it will come to us. It will be directed to the correct person who can best answer the question or your query. And we are sure to answer you within the shortest time possible. Okay. So thank you for that reminder. I think we are out of questions. Yes, I think I've answered all questions. And at this time, I want to thank you all so much. Okay, there's something at the end here. I acknowledge the peculiarity in different departments and faculties, but on matters regarding enrolled students, access to Similarity report should be defaulted to on for all instructors accounts to sort out the issue regarding delayed responses. Okay. I was enrolled in class, but the uploading button is inactive. It displays a red button. I don't know why that could be. Maybe the class has expired. The instructor could have a look at the class, make sure that it is still within the validity period. That could be a reason for it. Okay. So yeah, at this time, I want to thank you all so much for attending this session on Turnitin. I want to thank you for engaging us, for all the questions that have been asked. It shows that there's some interest in needing to know more about how it works. I want to invite you, if you're an instructor, you're experiencing some challenges, you have my email address. Some of you even have my number. I will not share my number here, but for those who have my number and have already been calling, that is okay. But for future inquiries, use my email address or use the help desk feature that I have demonstrated, and we would be happy to assist in resolving any issue. So I want to wish you all a good afternoon and a good weekend. And I want now to hand back to my colleague, Madam Milka, kindly come in and say something.
Yeah, thank you so much, Timothy, for that good, elaborate presentation. I think just one more concern, and just to notify the supervisors that now that Turnitin requires us to enroll the student, we also discourage scanning other students' work using the students that you have enrolled. Because once something happens now, it becomes troublesomeness. Timothy has just demonstrated. So we encourage supervisors to, once you enroll a student, just scan the work that belongs to that specific student and not any other. I think that is what I wanted to point out so that we don't run into problems. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Milka. Bwana Mashari, if you're still there, I want now to hand back to you to close the session.
Thank you very much, Timothy. I actually want to bring this conversation to an end. It is very educative. There are a lot of interest. Thank you very much, Timothy, on behalf of the committee for being able to articulate the issues. This is going to be a continuous conversation. Technical commitment that was given earlier by the Deputy Director, Technical Services. We are available to continue having this training. We can even be able to, as she indicated, we can even make it even much easier at the departmental level, faculty level, that is possible. And whenever you have a problem, Timothy has indicated, we are available to be able to engage you until you are able to read from the same script. So thank you very much for coming. Keep your tap on this particular platform. We are going to have more and more, and from the look of things, we are likely to have another Turnitin in the near future. But you're most welcome, and thank you very much for your time. I want to bring that to an end.